The evidence for that was some obscure Russian website that no one's ever heard of, that had no followers. Information that was relevant to the public. That's a terrible thing that happened. That's like the interference.
In the depths of space exploration history, a disturbing secret remains hidden. To uncover this long-buried truth, Elon Musk, the innovative founder of SpaceX, has embarked on an unprecedented journey. While the world celebrated Yuri Gagarin's triumphant orbit, a horrifying and untold story lay concealed in the shadows. 3 Soviet cosmonauts, forgotten by history, were silently erased from public knowledge. In today's episode, we will uncover what led to the demise of these 3 cosmonauts. Was it a sinister act of sabotage, or did they encounter something inexplicable and otherworldly during their ill-fated space mission? This is Reveal the Mystery. If you are curious to learn mysteries of the world, space and beyond, consider subscribing. In the exciting story of space exploration, there's an interesting rivalry between Elon Musk, who started SpaceX, and Dmitry Rogozin, the leader of Russia's space agency Roscosmos. They've had banters and arguments on social media over the years. In 2014, tensions grew because of financial sanctioned Russian officials after Russia's actions in Crimea, Ukraine. Rogozin then playfully teased NASA by suggesting they use a trampoline to get to space. Back then, the US relied on Russian spacecraft for space travel. Despite their public arguments, this rivalry is just a small part of the long-standing competition between Russia and the US in space, which goes back to the Cold War and the space race that started in the late 1950s. It began when the Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite Sputnik in 1957, leading to the creation of NASA. The space race saw both nations achieve important milestones, including the US landing on the moon in 1969. In the United States, there was the tragic Challenger space shuttle accident on January 28, 1986. The shuttle broke apart just 73 seconds after liftoff, and all 7 crew members on board lost their lives. Similarly, the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster happened on February 1, 2003. During re-entry, a problem with one of the rocket boosters caused an explosion, leading to the deaths of all 7 crew members. These disasters were heartbreaking for NASA and the families of the astronauts and cosmonauts who perished. They led to big changes in safety procedures and the way things were done to ensure that such accidents wouldn't happen again. On the Russian side, there was a tragic event known as the Soyuz 11 disaster. This incident resulted in the loss of 3 cosmonauts, Georgy Dobrovolsky, Viktor Patsayev, and Vladislav Volkov. They were on the Soyuz 11 spacecraft, and their mission was to be the first crew to live on the Salyut 1 space station. Sadly, during their return to Earth on June 30, 1971, something went terribly wrong, and all 3 cosmonauts lost their lives. Georgy Dobrovolsky was awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, and his ashes were placed in a special memorial in Moscow. Vladislav Volkov, who was an aviation engineer, also received posthumous honors, and his ashes were interred in the same memorial. Viktor Patsayev, who had completed a record-breaking 24-day space voyage, was given posthumous honors too, including the title of Hero of the Soviet Union and the Order of Lenin. In Elon Musk's story of The Descent, everything seemed to be going as planned. When the module's parachute system deployed, the spacecraft landed on its side and the rescue team was ready. However, when they opened the hatch, they discovered that all 3 cosmonauts inside Soyuz 11 had tragically lost their lives. Elon Musk mentioned that something unexpected happened during their space mission, which made everything very urgent and uncertain. One of the crew members, Kubasov, thought he was allergic to an insecticide from a tree, but it turned out he was mistaken and he got better quickly. Still, the leaders of the Soyuz program decided to stick with the backup crew and set the launch date for Soyuz 11 on June 6th. The new leader of the Soyuz 11 crew was Georgy Dobrovolsky, who was from Ukraine and had been a cosmonaut since 1963. He was very excited about his first space journey journey after being a cosmonaut for 8 years. Volkov, the flight engineer for Soyuz 11, had been in space before as a member of the Soyuz 7 crew in October 1969. Another crew member, Viktor Patsayev, worked for the Korolev Design Bureau and was part of the backup crew. With the crew ready and the launch date set, the whole world was waiting for the historic Soyuz 11 mission. However, they didn't know that the challenges they would face in space would be more significant than ever. Patsayev, a civil engineer from Kazakhstan with a family, was part of the 1968 Civilian Specialist Group 3 chosen for the Soyuz 11 mission. The spacecraft successfully launched on June 6, 1971, and after 24 hours, it docked with the Salyut 1 space station, overcoming some problems they had faced with docking before. When they arrived at Salyut 1, the crew noticed a bad smell, so they replaced 2 fans to make sure the air was safe to breathe. Salyut 1 was a significant achievement in space exploration, with advanced technology and modules. During their time in space, the Soyuz crew did various activities. One of the crew members, Viktor Patsayev, celebrated his birthday in space and became the first person to use a telescope in space to look at stars. Their adventures and achievements were shown on TV in the Soviet Union, and people really admired them. Even though their work schedule disrupted their sleep and made them tired, on June 16th, they faced a big problem when they noticed smoke and a burning smell on the space station. They had to use a secret code to talk to Mission Control, but the controllers couldn't remember the code, so they had to explain the emergency in plain language. They quickly left the space station, returned to their Soyuz spacecraft, and put out the fire. Because of the fire and other issues, they had to end their mission 6 days earlier than planned. On June 30th, 1971, they used their engine to start their journey back to Earth as scheduled. However, something went wrong when the Soyuz 11 spacecraft was in space. The part of the spacecraft that helps it move separated from the part where the crew was. There was a serious issue. When the 2 parts of the spacecraft separated, a valve that controls the air inside opened too soon. This made the air rush out very fast, and the crew was in danger. Elon Musk explained that they only had 13 seconds to fix the problem, but it was impossible to do it in time, even if they tried to close the valve by hand. Unfortunately, all 3 cosmonauts on Soyuz 11 passed away about 110 seconds after the 2 parts of the spacecraft separated. At first, the people in charge of the mission hoped they would come back safely, but when they opened the spacecraft, they found out the cosmonauts had already died. This unfortunate news became known to the public more than 30 minutes later when they did a test broadcast. This accident was a big deal because it showed how dangerous space exploration can be and how crucial safety measures are. The Soyuz 11 crew received awards even after their deaths. The sacrifice of the Soyuz 11 crew members happened 50 years ago, and they are the only people to have died in space.